Have you ever felt a connection with someone so intense, so unexpected, that it completely shifted the ground beneath your feet? Imagine that connection sparking in the quietest hours, with someone you thought you knew so well, only to discover hidden depths. This is the true story of Mark and his nephew, Alex. A story about unspoken feelings, a bond that deepened in the shadows of night, and a moment that changed everything between them forever. Get ready to listen. One silent night and an unspoken bond took them to a place they'd never imagined, changing everything between them. It's said that quiet nights leave you restless, and this night was still and heavy, with faint streetlight casting strange shadows across the room. The steady ticking of the clock filled the silence as each second stretched into the next while Mark lay beneath the blankets, sleep just out of reach. His phone buzzed, its sudden glow piercing the darkness, and he squinted at the screen to see his nephew Alex's name illuminating in soft light. A message read, "Are you awake?" Simple but somehow unsettling. Alex had always been close to Mark, growing from a lively, energetic kid into a sharp and witty young man. Texts from Alex weren't uncommon, even at odd hours, as he'd grown up treating Mark's place like a second home, and Mark always loved having him around. But tonight, the message felt different. Something beneath the surface he couldn't quite place, nagging at him. Maybe it was just the late hour playing tricks on his mind. Mark typed back a quick, "Yeah, what's up?" and lay back, eyes fixed on the ceiling, trying to shake the unease wrapping around him. A soft creak came from down the hallway, floorboards shifting under quiet footsteps. He held his breath, straining to listen, even though he knew it was probably nothing. But the footsteps stopped outside his door, lingering like whoever it was couldn't decide to enter or walk away. He tensed, fighting the urge to call out. But before he could decide, the sound retreated down the hall. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding, telling himself it was just a strange late-night occurrence. And he was probably overthinking. But the silence didn't bring comfort. It hung thick and heavy, amplifying every minor sound until the house felt alive with whispers. His phone buzzed again, jolting him from his thoughts. This time, Alex's message was simpler. "Can I come in?" He stared at the screen, curiosity mingling with lingering tension. It wasn't like Alex to ask permission, especially in the middle of the night. Usually, he'd burst in unannounced, brimming with some story or idea. But tonight, he seemed cautious, careful even. Mark typed back, "Sure, come on in," and almost immediately heard footsteps again, slower this time, measured. He waited, propped up on his elbow, feeling the cool night air pressing in. The door creaked open slowly, and Alex stepped in, his silhouette framed by the faint glow from the hallway. His eyes were downcast, hands in his pockets, hesitating near the doorway, unsure if he'd made the right decision coming in. "Can't sleep?" Mark asked, keeping his tone light, though his pulse quickened slightly. There was an intensity in Alex's gaze when he looked up, something raw that caught Mark off guard. "Yeah, kind of," Alex replied, his voice barely a murmur, stepping closer with unusual hesitation, every movement uncharacteristically reserved. Mark felt a strange urge to sit up, to dispel the tension that had crept in with him. "Everything all right?" he asked, hoping Alex would snap out of whatever cast this shadow over him. Alex shrugged, giving a small smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I just felt like talking, I guess." "Of course," Mark said, patting the side of the bed, inviting him to sit. He couldn't shake the feeling Alex had something on his mind, something he wasn't sure how to bring up, but he didn't push, knowing Alex could retreat if pressured. So he waited, letting silence settle. Alex sat, folding his hands and staring at them as if they held answers. For a moment, neither spoke, the silence heavy but not uncomfortable. A delicate balance he didn't want to disrupt. Finally, Alex sighed, glancing up with an apologetic look. "Do you ever feel like you can't talk to anyone, like no one really gets you?" The question surprised Mark, and he considered his response carefully, sensing something more than late-night thoughts. "Yeah," he said slowly, "sometimes, but it helps to talk things out, even if they don't completely understand. Just getting it off your chest can make a difference." Alex nodded, considering his words, though his mind was elsewhere. The silence returned, and Mark watched Alex, waiting. "I don't know what I'm doing half the time," Alex admitted, his voice a whisper. "It feels like I'm just lost." Mark felt sympathy, recognizing the weight of Alex's words. Beneath Alex's brightness, he saw insecurities creeping in as he grew older, facing responsibilities and expectations. "Everyone feels that way," Mark reassured him. "We all go through phases where nothing makes sense. It's normal, even if it doesn't feel that way." Alex nodded, shoulders relaxing slightly, though still troubled. Mark watched Alex, noticing worry lines etched into his young face, realizing this vulnerability was a side he hadn't seen before. Alex looked up, eyes meeting Mark's with intensity. "Thanks for listening," he said softly. "I know it's late." Mark smiled, lightening the mood. "Hey, that's what uncles are for, right? You don't have to thank me." Alex chuckled, a genuine sound, easing the tension, but a weight lingered in his gaze, something unshared, like an unfinished sentence. Leaning back, Mark asked, "You gonna tell me what's really on your mind?" Alex looked down, smile fading, and for a moment, Mark thought Alex might open up, but he only shrugged, giving a small, sad smile. "Maybe someday." Mark nodded, sensing Alex wasn't ready to share, and that was okay. He could wait. Alex had always been a bit of a mystery, and Mark had learned to give him space. They sat in silence for a while, lost in thought, the room heavy and comforting, like sharing a secret without words. Mark watched Alex's shoulders relax, breathing evening out, tension slipping away. When Alex finally stood, he looked back with a soft, grateful smile. "Good night," he said warmly. "Good night, Alex," Mark replied, watching him go, feeling pride and concern. Whatever weighed on Alex, he knew they'd talk again, but tonight it was enough. As Alex slipped out, closing the door, Mark lay back, staring at the ceiling, Alex's presence lingering. Sleep still didn't come easily, but the silence no longer felt heavy. Days passed, but the conversation lingered, an unspoken shadow between them. Mark sensed it every time they crossed paths. Quick, unreadable glances masked with smiles or remarks. He played along, but couldn't shake the feeling they were navigating something they didn't understand. Then, unexpectedly, one evening, coming home late and exhausted, he found Alex on the couch, television flickering, face in shadows. The dim room, lit only by the TV, and Alex's tense posture stopped him. "Hey," Alex said softly, heavily, glancing up. "You're home late." "Yeah," Mark replied, shrugging off his coat, trying to sound casual. "Long day." He hesitated, noticing Alex's clenched hands, like he was holding back. "Everything all right?" Alex didn't answer, looking down, fiddling with the remote, jaw tight. After a long moment, he looked up, eyes intense. "I've been thinking," he whispered, "about that night we talked." Mark froze, tension filling the room. "Yeah? I just wanted to thank you," Alex continued, gaze unwavering, words measured, for listening, for being there. Vulnerability in Alex's voice struck Mark. He moved to sit beside him, respectfully distant, but close enough. "Alex, you don't have to thank me," he said gently. "I'm always here for you, you know that." Alex nodded, but hesitation lingered. "It's just, I don't know how to explain it. Lately, everything feels so heavy, like I'm carrying this weight I can't shake off." He watched Alex, sensing more unspoken words. Alex tried to communicate a feeling he couldn't name. He wanted to help, but didn't know how. "You're not alone in this, Alex," Mark said softly. "Whatever you're going through, you don't have to face it alone." Alex glanced at him, eyes filled with gratitude and something deeper, unidentifiable. "I know," he murmured, "but sometimes it feels like I'm the only one who feels this way, like no one else understands." Tension built, a silent understanding passing between them, fragile and unspoken. He reached out, placing a comforting hand on Alex's shoulder, feeling warmth. "You'd be surprised," he said softly. "Everyone's got something they're dealing with, even if they don't show it." Alex didn't respond. Head bowed, breathing shallow. Then, instinctively, he leaned into Mark's touch, a small, almost imperceptible movement, charged with intensity that made his heart race. He didn't pull away, letting silence settle, the weight of the moment sinking in. Closeness between them felt different, new, unanticipated. He felt Alex's warmth, heartbeat beneath skin, realizing how much Alex meant, how much he wanted to protect him. But before he could speak, Alex pulled back, face flushed, gaze averted. "Sorry," he muttered, looking away, voice tight. "I didn't mean to, It's okay." Mark reassured quickly. "You don't have to apologize, Alex. I'm here for you, whatever you need." Alex nodded, but conflict was in his eyes, torn between closeness and pulling away, afraid of crossing an invisible line. Yet, a part of Mark wanted to bridge the gap, to say it was okay to not hold back. The room was quiet, only the TV hum, charged silence prickling his skin. He wanted to speak, break the silence, but words wouldn't come, afraid of revealing too much. Then, quickly, the moment was over. Alex took a deep breath, steadying himself, and gave a tentative smile. "Thanks," he said softly, sincerely. Mark smiled back, relieved but disappointed, wanting more, wanting to hold Alex close, but knowing it wasn't what Alex needed now. He needed time, space, which Mark was willing to give. As Alex stood to leave, he paused, glancing back, expression unreadable. "Good night," he whispered. "Good night, Alex," Mark replied, watching him disappear, leaving him in the dim room. He sat there, mind racing, replaying the moment, trying to make sense of surging feelings. He knew something deeper was there, but didn't know what to do with it. In the following days, tension grew. Routines, polite smiles, casual greetings, but an undercurrent to every interaction, lingering awareness. He saw it in Alex's eyes, glances quickly averted, faltering voice, as if afraid of saying too much. One evening at dinner, Alex stole glances from across the table, looking away when caught. Tension palpable, unspoken but undeniable understanding passing between them. "Is everything all right?" Mark finally asked, breaking the heavy silence. Alex looked up, guarded, but vulnerability flickered in his eyes. "Yeah, I'm fine," he replied too casually. "Why do you ask?" I shrugged, keeping tone light. "You just seem different lately, like something's on your mind." Alex didn't respond, staring at his plate, tense shoulders, tight jaw. After a long moment, he spoke, voice barely a whisper. "I guess I've just been thinking a lot about." He hesitated, glancing up, unreadable expression. "About us," he said quietly, words heavy with unspoken meaning. Mark froze, heart pounding, processing. Vulnerability and raw honesty in Alex's eyes caught him off guard. Silence stretched, thick and charged, weight of Alex's words pressing down, making it hard to breathe. "Alex," Mark began, voice barely above a whisper, but Alex shook his head, cutting him off. "You don't have to say anything," Alex said quickly, gaze dropping to the table. I wanted you to know. That's all." He looked up, eyes meeting Mark's intensely, something he couldn't name, but undeniable, and he knew things would never be the same between them. As Alex stood to leave, Mark watched him go, mind racing, heart pounding, knowing they'd crossed a line. After Alex left, the room felt heavier, filled with unsaid words. He sat in silence, replaying their conversation. Alex's look, the tension like a fragile thread. He wanted to tell himself it was just a phase, but knew better. They'd crossed a boundary. The following days were a blur. They didn't talk about it, but the unspoken was present in every glance, word, silence. He found himself looking forward to Alex's visits, thrilling and unsettling anticipation growing each time they were in the same room. A quiet electric pull he couldn't deny. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he heard a soft knock. He knew it was Alex before opening the door, pulse quickening, chest tightening. He took a deep breath, steadying himself, and opened the door. Alex stood there, hands in pockets, expression nervous and determined, looking at him with that same intensity that had haunted him since their last conversation. For a moment, neither spoke, waiting for the other to break the silence. "Can I come in?" Alex asked softly, Tentatively. Of course, Mark replied, stepping aside. Alex walked in, moving with quiet confidence, a sense of purpose that made his heart race. He turned to face him, eyes meeting Mark's, and everything else faded away. Doubts, uncertainty, questions. Only Alex and the silent understanding growing between them. I couldn't stop thinking about what we talked about, Alex admitted, voice barely a whisper. About us, about everything. Mark nodded, speechless. Vulnerability in Alex's gaze, a quiet, longing mirrored his own. He realized how much Alex meant. This wasn't just a passing feeling. It was real, powerful, terrifying, and thrilling. Alex stepped closer, hand reaching out, brushing against Mark's, warm and gentle. A shiver ran through him. Heart pounding as Alex closed the distance, gaze never leaving his. The air charged, exhilarating and terrifying tension. For a moment, they stood there, caught in the pull of something undeniable. Are you okay with this? Alex asked softly, hesitantly. Mark swallowed, mind racing, but knew his answer. Yes, he whispered, barely audible. Alex smiled, relieved, and leaned in, face inches from Mark's, breath warm and steady. Time seemed to stop. The world faded, leaving only them, caught in an inevitable moment. Finally, Alex bridged the gap, lips whispering against Mark's in a tender, exploratory kiss, gentle at first, then deepening. Alex's hand cradled his neck, drawing him near. Emotion overwhelmed Mark, and he surrendered, melting into the embrace. Tension dissolved, anticipation unfolded. Alex's arms enveloped him, holding him tight. Unshakable belonging, quiet conviction in Alex's hold. I found home, Mark realized. Hearts synchronized, beating as one. Every doubt faded, undeniable connection. They stood lost, wrapped in each other, love shining bright. They pulled apart, breathless, foreheads resting together. Catching breath, Alex looked at him, gaze affectionate and uncertain. Question in his eyes, plea for reassurance. I don't know where this is going, Alex admitted, voice barely a whisper, but I know I want to be here with you. Mark nodded, feeling the same uncertainty, exhilaration. For the first time, he embraced it. Me too, he replied, voice steady. Conviction surprising even himself. They stayed wrapped in each other, world forgotten, a moment of peace, belonging, knowing he was exactly where he was meant to be. The days following were surreal. A world the same, but different. Quiet moments shared, glances exchanged, lives bound by an unexpected understanding. They fell into an easy, natural rhythm, yet underlying intensity. New awareness lingered in every smile, touch. He could tell Alex was different too, the weight lighter, finally letting go. But it wasn't simple. Sometimes he'd catch Alex lost in thought, expression unreadable. He wanted to ask, but knew Alex needed space. One evening, quiet moment on the porch, city hum, purple and gold sky. Alex sat beside Mark, shoulder brushing his. Comfortable silence. After a while, Alex turned, eyes soft and fading light. You ever think about what's next? He asked quietly. Surprised, Mark studied Alex's face, quiet strength in his gaze. I try not to think too far ahead, he admitted, smiling. Sometimes it's enough just to focus on the here and now. Alex nodded, gaze drifting to the horizon, weighing thoughts. I don't want to mess this up, he murmured, vulnerability catching Mark off guard. Whatever this is between us. He reached over, hand on Alex's arm, warmth beneath his touch. You're not going to mess anything up, he said gently. We're figuring this out together, and whatever happens, we face it one step at a time. Alex smiled, relief softening features. Quiet joy settling in Mark's chest. Not all questions answered, but calmness in knowing they were in this together. Days passed, quiet moments, small discoveries, afternoons talking, sharing stories. Learning about each other, simple joy of Alex's presence, laughter, warmth in his gaze. But reality crept back in, reminding them they couldn't stay in this bubble. Other people, friends, family, would notice, ask questions they weren't ready to answer. A quiet worry grew. One evening in the living room, Alex laughing about work, but tension built. Unease wouldn't go away. Mark took a deep breath, voicing the question. "What are we going to do, Alex?" he asked softly. "About us." Laughter faded, replaced by seriousness mirroring his own. Alex didn't answer, searching his expression. After a long moment, he took Mark's hand, gentle but firm. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I know I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose you." Words hung in the air, quiet intensity making Mark's heart ache. Emotions surged, fear and longing, fierce determination. "Then we'll figure it out," Mark said steadily. "We'll take it one day at a time, and we'll face whatever comes together." Alex nodded, a smile breaking through, relief settling in Mark's chest. Not perfect, but enough for now, a promise. A commitment. Weeks followed, navigating complexities, balancing private moments and the world, finding ways to be together discreetly. Not always easy, sometimes overwhelming, but strength in each other, quiet understanding, unspoken promises. Time went on, realizing he didn't need answers, just Alex's presence, quiet strength, love, knowing they were in this together. The last night together was quiet, simple evening, no plans, just comfort of being together. They talked, laughed, shared stories, peace settling over Mark, quiet contentment. As night closed, Alex leaned on his shoulder, hand finding his fingers intertwining, silent promise. In that moment, he knew whatever the future held, they'd face it together with quiet strength and resolve. When Alex left, the house felt empty, quiet echo of his presence lingering. Mark sat there, replaying memories, laughter, whispers, simple joy, a memory he'd carry, quiet reminder of a time when everything felt right, when the world faded away, leaving only them. And as he sat there, city hum drifting through the window, he felt quiet peace. Certainty that no matter where life took them, the memory would remain constant in his heart. And that was the story of Mark and Alex, a true glimpse into the unexpected paths love can take. If you were moved by their story, please give this video a like. It really helps us share more stories like this with you. Don't forget to subscribe to LGBT Stories for more emotional, romantic, and heart-wrenching tales from the LGBTQ+ community. And tell us in the comments, what did you think of Mark and Alex's journey? We love hearing from you.